My name is Stephen Kazan. I'm a trial lawyer in Oakland, California, and I want to talk to you today about the sources of the law under which our civil justice system operates. We have a concept that we call punitive damages in the law today, by which, in addition to compensating somebody for the harm that you've done them through your negligence or through your strict liability responsibility, a jury has the power to impose additional damages, to punish you for your conduct, to make an example of you for others so that they will learn and avoid that kind of behavior. Many crimes also involve civil wrongs. If you kill somebody by driving drunk, society has an interest in punishing you because society wants to tell people that that's not acceptable conduct. But at the same time, the person that you killed, his family, his estate, has the right to sue you for compensation for the damage that you have caused. In the same chapter of Exodus, where the law is laid out about oxes that gore people, there's a punitive damage provision. Now, remember I said that it was an agrarian, rural society. One of the primary animals that they raised were sheep, for wool, for meat, for milk, etc. Very important animal, but clearly not as important as oxen, because sheep didn't do the work for the people like oxen did. So what does the Bible say about punitive damages? In Exodus, the Bible says if a man steals an ox or a sheep and kills it or sells it, he shall pay 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. This is not a fine to the government. This is compensation to the person from whom he took the sheep or the ox. This is punitive damages. Not only do you have to pay an ox for an ox if you negligently harm the ox, but if you steal it, if you kill it, you've got to pay punitive damages to that person. Let's take a moment and look at how that is reflected even today in American law. In California, we have punitive damages. And if a defendant acts with conduct that the law considers to be malice, oppression, or fraud, and acts in knowing disregard of the probable dangerous consequences of conduct or deliberately fails to avoid those dangerous consequences, they can be held responsible not only to compensate their victims for the actual damages, the medical expenses, the wage loss, the pain and suffering, but also to pay punitive damages. The purpose of punitive damages is to punish a wrongdoer for conduct that harmed the plaintiff and to discourage similar conduct in the future. Sounds exactly like the Bible. Our courts say, well, to determine the amount of damages, how reprehensible, how bad was this conduct? Did it disregard the health and safety of others? Did it involve a pattern or practice? The more it involved a pattern or practice, the more damages are appropriate. So the Bible still lives today in our law, in tort law, in civil liability law. It lives in the responsibility for negligence, for strict liability without negligence, in punitive damages, in violation of safety codes and statutes. So our modern civil justice law, our tort law, in fact has its foundation in the Bible and reflects some evolution of belief, some increase of knowledge, maybe some increased sophistication. But when anybody tells you that there's something wrong with our civil justice system, I think it's reasonable to say, hey, you know, it's just from the Bible. It's the way civilization has been in the Western world for 3,000 years. There's nothing wrong with it. People ought to be held responsible for what they do and pay for the damage they cause. Thank you.